Hello and welcome to my channel MathyThinkers. In this video, we are going to learn about straight line graphs. The topics covered will be finding the gradient and y-intercept, finding the x-intercept, drawing straight line graphs, converting equations to the standard form, which is y equals mx plus c, checking whether a given point lies on a graph, finding the equation of a straight line using the gradient and a given point on the line, finding the equation of a parallel line passing through a given point, and finally, finding the equation of a perpendicular line passing through a given point. So the first question says, find the equation of the straight line, find out its gradient and y-intercept. So first thing that we have to know is the standard form of a straight line. So if you follow my cursor, this is the standard form of a straight line, y equals mx plus c. So here, this m is called the gradient. The gradient of a graph or the slope of the graph tells us how the graph will look like. So whether the graph looks like this or that or that or that or that or this. So it gives us an idea of how the graph will look like. And this one, this C, is called the y-intercept. Y-intercept. So the y-intercept tells us where the graph cuts the y-axis. So we know that this is the y-axis, right? This is the y-axis. That is the x-axis. So this particular straight line cuts the y-axis at this point here. So that is called the y-intercept of this graph. So this is the y-intercept. Let's see what that value is. So this is 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So that is minus 3. So here in our graph here in the first question, the value of C is minus 3. So now we have to know how to calculate the gradient, the m. The m is the gradient, right? So to calculate m, we have to take any 2 points on this straight line. So let's choose 2 points here. Let us take this one as the first point and that one as another point. So the coordinates of this point will be 3, 0. So we write the x first. The value along the x-axis is 3. So we write 3. And the value of y for this point is 0. So we write 0, 3, 0. And the coordinates of this point will be 0, minus 3. Now to find the value of the gradients now, find out m, what do we have to do is, we have to take a difference of the y values and divide it by a difference of the x values. So we are going to take a difference of the y's and divide it by a difference of the x's. So we can take, suppose this point is x1, y1. So we are naming them as x1, y1, and this one as x2, y2. So what we'll do here is, we'll take a difference of the y values as the numerator and divide it by the difference of the x values. So this is my denominator. Okay. So here, let's calculate what this will be. So this is minus 3, y2 is minus 3. So this is minus 3 minus y1 is 0. So minus 0. And we divide it by x2, which is 0 minus x1, which is 3. So we have minus 3 minus 0, which is minus 3. We divide it by minus 3 there. So minus 3 divided by minus 3 is just a 1. So the value of a gradient for this graph is just a 1. So m is just a 1. So our equation will be y equals 1 times x plus minus 3. Now, in algebra, we don't really write 1 times x, right? Because it's just 1x. So we don't need to write the 1 at all. So we'll write x plus and minus gives us a minus 3. So y equals x minus 3 is my answer, is my equation for this graph. So at this point, you might have a question there that what if we choose different sets of points? So let's choose another set of points here. Maybe this one and that one. So now we have, this one is 6, comma, 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, comma, 3. And this point is again 0, comma, minus 3. So let's see what is the m in this case. So m will be again y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So again, let's take this pair of coordinates as x1 and x2, x1 and y1, sorry, and this one as x2, comma, y2. So we have minus 3 here. Minus 3 take away 3 for y2 minus y1. And for x2 minus x1, we have 0 minus 6. 0 minus 6. So in the numerator, we have minus 3, which gives us a minus 6. Another denominator, we have a minus 6. So again, minus 6 over minus 6 is just a 1. So the m is 1 again. So whatever pair of coordinates we choose along this straight line, we'll get the same value of m if we follow this rule of doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So some people call it as rise over run. So m equals rise over run. So the rise means how much the graph has risen. That means a difference of the y's. So if we draw a triangle here, so this is the rise. So this is the rise, which is a difference of the y values there. So if this is 3 on the top and 3 at the bottom there, so that's 3 plus 3, that's 6. The rise is 6. And the run is this. That's the run. The difference of the x values. So that is from this 0 to that 6. That's a 6 again. So the rise over run is also 1. So there are different ways of finding the value of m or the gradient. And the y-intercept is pretty simple. It is just the point where it cuts the y-axis. So that's the y-intercept. Okay, another thing that we have to remember about gradients is if we have a graph that goes uphill like this, so if we are going up the hill, then it's a positive gradient. And if we are going down the hill, so that's downhill. So that's a negative gradient. So please be mindful about these when you are calculating the value of a gradient. But if you follow this method, then accordingly you'll get a positive or a negative value depending on how your graph is. Okay, so let's look at the second question here. Again, it says, find the equation of the straight line. So let's quickly choose 2 points there. So let this be our first point and that our second point. So let's write down the coordinates there. So this is 0, comma, -7. And this is -9, comma, 0. So again, let's take this one as x1, y1. And this one as x2, y2. To keep things simple, we'll just follow one single method, which is doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 for our calculations of gradient. So if we do y2 minus y1 minus x2 minus x1 for these pair of points, let's see. So this is -7, -0 on the top. And at the bottom, we have 0 minus of -9. 0 minus of -9. So we have -7 over minus makes a plus 9. So that's our gradient. And the y-intercept here is -7. So this is our y-intercept there, the point where the graph cuts the y-axis. So that's -7. So we can write our equation as y equals mx plus c. So m is -7 over 9 mx. So m, this is m times x. mx plus c. So this is c. Let me write it here clearly so that you're not confused. So this is our m. And that is our c. So we have actually written y equals mx plus c. So now if we just simplify it, it will become y equals minus 7x over 9. Plus and minus gives us a -7. So that's my equation. That's the equation of this particular straight line. So the next question says, write down its x-intercept and the point where it cuts the x-axis. So here, the x-intercept means where does the line cut the x-axis? So if this is the x-axis, the line cuts it here at this point. So the x-intercept is -9. And the point where it cuts the x-axis, so here they're asking us for the coordinates of the point. So we are going to write the point where it cuts the x-axis is -9, 0. And another thing to note about this graph is going downhill. It's going downhill. That's why we got a negative value of our gradient. Negative. This is a negative value because the graph went downhill. So the third question says, draw the line with the equation y equals 3x plus 4. So here we have been given just a grid. We have to draw the line. In these cases, we are going to just take some fixed values of x and calculate their corresponding values of y. So let's take some fixed values of x there. Let's take -2, -1, 0, +1 maybe. Let's go with these values. And let's substitute these values in this equation to calculate the corresponding values of y. So for x equals -2, y will be 3 times -2 plus 4. So 3 times -2 is -6 plus 4. So that's a -2. So we are going to write that -2 here. Now for x equals -1, let's take another color. So for x equals -1, it will be 3 times -1 plus 4. So that's -3 plus 4, which is just a 1. So that's a 1 for y. Now for x equals 0, let's take a blue color. X equals 0, it will be 3 times 0 plus 4. So that's just a 4. So y is just 4 there. And finally, for x equals 1, we'll have y as 3 times 1 plus 4. So that's 3 plus 4, which is just a 7. So let's plot these 4 points now on this graph. So 1, 7. So 1 along the corridor, 7 up the stairs. So 1, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's there. That's 1, 7. So 0, 4, next one is 0, 4. So 0 and then 4. Next point is -1, 1 in pink. So let's put -1, 1. So that's there. And finally, -2, -2 in red. So -2, -2. So that's there. Now let's join all of these lines with a straight line. So we take a ruler and we draw a straight line there. So that's my line for the equation. So let's write it. So this is the line for the equation y equals 3x plus 4. Okay, so now let's look at the fourth question here. It says draw the line with the equation 4x minus y equals minus 2. So here we have the equation, but we don't have it in the standard form, which is y equals mx plus c. So in this case, we have to change the equation here. We have to move things around to make it in the form y equals something, something, something like that. Okay. So let's see what we can do. So this is the equal sign. On the left-hand side of the equation, we have 4x minus y. And on the right-hand side, we have a minus 2. So if we want to express it as y equals something, we have to move everything else to the other side there. So this 4x is a plus 4x there on the left-hand side. So we have to do a minus 4x on the right-hand side if we move it. So on the left, we'll be left with minus y. And on the right-hand side, we already have a minus 2. And the 4x moves and becomes minus 4x. So now we have minus y equals minus 2 minus 4x. It is still not in the form of y equals something. So now let's change the minus y to plus y. So if we change minus y to plus y, the right-hand side should also change to the opposite signs. So minus 2 should become a plus 2. Minus 4x should become a plus 4x. So now our equation is of the form y equals mx plus c. Here, this is our mx, and that is our c there. So m is 4, and c is a 2, right? Okay, so this is our equation. Now let's find some points which satisfy this equation. So as we did in our previous question, we are going to do the same thing here. We are going to take some fixed values of x, and calculate the corresponding values of y. So we are going to take minus 2, minus 1, 0, and 1 for x. So if x is minus 2, this equation becomes y equals 2 plus 4 times minus 2. So that's 2 minus 8. So 4 times minus 2 is a minus 8. That's why 2 minus 8. And then this is minus 6. So the first value of y for x equals minus 2 is minus 6. Okay, let's work it out for x equals minus 1. So for x equals minus 1, y will be 2 plus 4 times minus 1. So that is 2 minus 4, which is just a minus 2. So we have a minus 2 there. The next value for x is a 0. So we put the 0 in our equation here. So y equals 2 plus 4x. 2 plus 4 times 0. X is 0. So that's 2, just a 2. And then the last one, x equals 1. So y will be 2 plus 4 times 1. So 2 plus 4, which is just a 6. So 1, 6. So let's quickly plot these 4 points there. 1, 6, 1 along the corridor, 6 up the stairs. As there. 0, 2. So 0, 2 there. Next one, minus 1, minus 2 in red. Minus 1, minus 2. That's there. And the last one, minus 2, minus 6. Minus 2, minus 6 in black. So minus 2, minus 6 is this. So let's take a ruler and join these 4 points there. Yeah, so that's our straight line. So that's our straight line with the equation 4x minus y. So we're going to write this is 4x minus y equals minus 2. That's a straight line. Question 5 reads, write down the gradient and y-intercept of the following lines. So here we have been given 3 lines, 3 equations, but none of them are in the standard form yet. So let's write down the standard form first on the top of our page. So the standard form is y equals mx plus c. So if we look at the first question, it is 6x minus y equals 10. So we have to rearrange the equation so that it becomes y equals mx plus c. Y equals something, something there, okay? So on the left-hand side of the equals, we have 6x minus y. So that 6x has to be removed from the left-hand side. And it has to be moved to the right-hand side there. So that's a plus 6x there. If we move it to the right-hand side, it should become a minus 6x. So on the left, we have a minus y. And on the right-hand side, we already have a 10. And now the 6x has moved and it has become a minus 6x. So on the left-hand side, we did a minus 6x. It got cancelled. And on this side also, right-hand side, we did a minus 6x. So minus y equals 10 minus 6x. It is still not in the form y equals something. So this minus y needs to be changed to plus y. So if minus y changes to plus y, everything else on the right-hand side needs to be changed to its opposite sign. So plus 10 should change to minus 10. Minus 6x should become plus 6x. So now it is in the form y equals c plus mx. So this is c and that is plus mx. So c or the y-intercept is minus 10 and the gradient or m is plus 6 for the first question. Now let's look at the next question, question B. So question B has 8x plus 3y equals 15. So again, we have to move this 8x to the right-hand side. So we do a minus 8x there and a minus 8x here. So 3y should become 15 minus 8x. So now this is not a y yet. This is a 3y. So the 3 is multiplied. So if we move the 3 to the right hand side, we should divide it, right? So we divide and we divide everything here on the right hand side by the 3. So it becomes y equals 15 divided by 3 minus 8 divided by 3x. So C is 15 divided by 3, which is a 5. And M is minus 8 over 3. So this is a 5 there. I'll just write 5 here. Okay, now let's look at the last question there. 3x plus 6y equals minus 18. So again, we do a minus 3x here on this side and minus 3x there. So it should be 6y equals minus 18 minus 3x. Then we do a divide by 6 on both sides. So y equals minus 18 divided by 6, which is a minus 3. And minus 3 divided by 6 is a half. 3 over 6 is a half times x. So C is minus 3. C or y-intercept is minus 3. And M is minus half. Okay, now let's look at question 6 here. So question 6 says, which of the following points lie on the line x plus 3y equals 10? And they have given us 5 points there, A, B, C, D, E, with different coordinates there. So what we have to do is, we have to substitute these values of x and y in this equation there and see if they satisfy this equation. So I'll explain what it means. So for the first point A, x is 0 and y is minus 6. So let's substitute the values of x and y in this equation. So x plus 3y should become 0 plus 3 times minus 6. X plus 3y. X is 0, y is minus 6. So 0 plus 3 times minus 6. So that is just a minus 18. So that's a minus 18, but not a minus 10 according to the question. So it is not a 10. I mean, it's not a 10 according to the question. So this point does not lie on the line x plus 3y equals 10. Because we got a minus 18 and not a 10. That's why. Okay, so now let's look at the second question, second point there. B, which is having the coordinate x as 7 and y as 1. So now let's substitute those values of x and y in the equation. X plus 3y. So 7 plus 3 times 1. Y is 1. So 7 plus 3 times 1 is a 10. which is equal to this, according to the question. So point B satisfies this equation. Point B lies on the line x plus 3y equals 10. Okay, so now let's look at the third point here with the coordinates 4, 2. So let's substitute again. 4x plus 3 times y, 3 times 2. So x plus 3y, 4 plus 3 times 2, 4 plus 6, which is a 10. So this point also satisfies this equation because it's a 10. We got a 10 here. So this point also lies on the line x plus 3y equals 10. Now let's check the fourth point, D, which has x as 10, y as 1. So x plus 3y again. So 10 plus 3 times 1. 10 plus 3 times 1 is a 13. It's not a 10. So we can say point D does not lie on the line x plus 3y. Finally, let's check for point E. Point E has 1, 3. So x is 1, y is 3. So we are going to do x plus 3y again. So 1 plus 3 times the value of y, which is a 3. So 1 plus 3 times 3 is a 10. So point E also satisfies the equation x plus 3y equals 10. So point E also lies on the line this. So we are going to write our answer as B, C, and E lie on the line x plus 3y equals 10. Okay, now let's look at the next question, which says, write the equation of the straight line that has a gradient of 7 and passes through the point 1, 11. So here, we have been given the value of m there. That's the gradient, m. So m is 7. But we don't know the value of c yet. So let's write our general equation, our equation in the standard form as y equals mx plus c. So y should be equal to 7x plus c for our question here. They have given the value of m as 7. So we wrote y equals 7x plus c. But this value of c is unknown now at this point. We don't know the value of c. So what can we do here? So we have to use the information that's given in the question. They've given us a point there, 1, 11, which lies on the straight line. So what we can do is, we can substitute the value of this point on our equation. So we are going to substitute this value in our equation here. So y is 11 and x is 1. So instead of y, we're going to write 11. And instead of x, we are going to write 1. So we are rewriting this equation by substituting the values of x and y. So 11 equals 7 times 1 plus c. So this gives us 11 equals 7 plus c. So C should be equal to 11 minus 7, which is a 4. So we know our C is a 4. So our equation should be y equals 7x plus 4. Our next question reads, write down the equation of the line that is parallel to y minus 3x equals 4 and passes through the point minus 1, comma minus 5. So they have already given us an equation of a straight line there. And they want us to find out another line which is parallel to this red line. So if our red line looks like this, they want us to find out another line which is parallel to that red line. So this one maybe has the equation y minus 3x equals 4. They want us to find out the equation of this line. And they have given us a point minus 1, comma minus 5, which actually lies on this straight line. So maybe this is the point minus 1, comma minus 5. So that's the question. So to answer this question, we have to know the properties of parallel lines. So if we have two parallel lines, they will have the same gradient. They'll have the same value for m. So let's write it down. They should have the same slope or gradient. They should have the same gradient. So let's find out what is the gradient of this line there. So it's not given in the form y equals mx plus c. So we have to move this minus 3x to this side, to the right-hand side. So let's rewrite this equation as, so this is in red. So y equals minus 3x. If we move it to the right-hand side, it should be a plus 3x. And there is already a plus 4 there, plus 4. So the gradient of this line, of the original line given to us, is 3, right? So the gradient of this line in black should also be same. So this one should also have a gradient of 3 because parallel lines have the same gradient. So the equation of this parallel line should look like y equals 3x plus c. Now again, like the previous question, the c is unknown here. We don't know the value of c. So let's substitute this point here, this point minus 1, comma minus 5, to find out what is c. So if we substitute x as minus 1 and y as minus 5, this equation should become minus 5 equals 3 times minus 1 plus c. So minus 5 equals minus 3 plus c. So now we remove this minus 3 from the right-hand side. So it becomes a plus 3 there. So minus 5 plus 3 on this side equals c. So c is minus 2. So the equation of the line that is parallel to y minus 3x equals 4 should be y equals 3x minus 2. That's my answer. Okay, now let's look at the final question in the video. So the question reads, write down the equation of the line that is perpendicular to y minus 4x equals 10 and passes through the point 4, minus 6. So by perpendicular lines, we mean lines which are at right angles to each other. So if this is one line, one original line. So if the original line given in the question is this one. So if I have y minus 4x equals 10. So maybe this is our original line in red. Y minus 4x equals 10. Let's write it like that. Y minus 4x equals 10. So by perpendicular lines, we mean another line which is at right angle to it. So like this. So this angle there is a 90 degree there. It's a right angle. So they're asking us to find out the equation of this line. And they have given us the information that this perpendicular line passes through the point 4, minus 6. So maybe this point there is 4, minus 6. So they have given us a point there as 4, minus 6. So to answer this question, we have to know how the perpendicular lines are related. So if we have the slope of an original line as m, the perpendicular line will have a slope of minus 1 over m. So if we have this as the slope of the original graph, slope of original line, then the slope of the perpendicular line will be a negative reciprocal of the original slope. So we flip it, we flip the value and we put a minus sign, we put an opposite sign. Slope, so this is the slope of the perpendicular line. Perpendicular line. For example, if we have the original slope as maybe 3 over 4, the perpendicular line will have a slope of minus 4 over 3. Or, let me show you another example. If we have the original slope as minus 7 over 3, then the slope of the perpendicular line will be plus 3 over 7. So we flip it, we flip the original slope and we put the opposite sign. Okay. So now let's look at our question. Our question says that the original line has the equation y minus 4x equals 10. So we'll move things around here. So y minus 4x equals 10. So we have to move the minus 4x to the other side. So we do a plus 4x there when it comes to the right-hand side. So y equals 10 plus 4x. So here our slope is 4. So we can say for our perpendicular line, perpendicular line's gradient should be minus 1 over 4. So we flip the 4. If we flip the 4, it becomes 1 over 4. And we change its sign, it becomes a minus. So minus 1 over 4 should be the gradient of the perpendicular line. So let's write down the equation of the perpendicular line. It should look like y equals minus 1/4 x, because that's our slope, plus c. Now we have to find out this c. So we can again use the point given to find out this c. So our point is x equals 4, y equals minus 6. So we're going to substitute that here. Minus 6 equals minus 1/4 of 4 plus c. So this becomes minus 6 equals, I'm going to write or, minus 6 equals minus 1/4 times 4 is just a minus 1. Okay, plus c. So c should be minus 6 plus 1, which is a minus 5. So our equation is y equals minus 1/4 x minus 5. This is my answer. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, press like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook and TikTok. Thank you.